Alright, today I believe we'll find stuff. Oh, also, we have two cool updates. Number one, we're doing another Christmas giveaway. Go sign up there and just post what you want. And then we're going to have a fun little thing on the 23rd. We're doing a fun event. So go post it in Amazon up to $200 of an item that you really want. And number two, look at this. Look what I got done. I got all of the skills in Llama RPG input and all of their values. Let's go, baby. Progress. We'll start with a nice repair on our Shaco, of course. Thank you, sir. Llama Mancer.
This monastery reeks with
Ranger, Mage, Warrior. Those are the three starting classes. I may, later on, expansion in like a... Necro wouldn't really work very well in the game. But we could expansion in like a paladin class or something. Is that a haircut? Yeah, it was time to get one. Haircuts are expensive, man. That's why you gotta wait 3 months to get one. Is $200 worth of diapers too boring for a chat the vote to the top? For chat the vote to the top. I do not know what any of that means. Too boring for chat the vote to the top. For chat to vote to the top. What does to the top mean? Chat to vote to the top. Chat, do you know what he means? Are baby haircuts expensive?
Impossible.
The top of the loaf. Oh my god. I getcha. Of the giveaway. Yeah, we usually give the top couple people what they want. And then we like roll around the rest of them so everybody gets a chance. Yeah, part of it is voting, part of it is random. Babies are expensive, just do a Vegas wedding. Oh, I'm not looking forward to all the baby expenses, but
With evil and corruption. I can't.
I name my kid Diablo. I'm trying for baby and Dario. Maybe baby Lilith. Cause Lily, that's cute. Moo Girl says, there's no gosh darn way we're naming our kid after a demon. I say, is she a demon or is she just misunderstood?
I am overburdened.
That's nice, Robbie. Your niece is named Ariel. That's what Warren wants to name our baby. Not like mine and Warren's baby, but the baby with yeah. There you go, sir.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
I'm not sure about that one, Finn.
I can't carry anymore.
Thank you. Plus 70 replenish life.
I can't carry anymore.
I hope that my game, Llama RPG, is so tough that plus 70 replenish life is meaningful.
I am overburdened. I can't. I can't.
It would be a percent of a flat or something of that nature. There's still many. Right now, we need to get into testing. We got married by just a tough man.
This monastery reeks.
Aw, that's great, no, Denali.
Corruption.
You're gonna spam through, go through your notes, and then message me about your jewel socketing suggestion for Llama RPG. That'd actually be nice. I would love to hear your thoughts. There's definitely like on working through building in all of the skills, it has brought up questions, you know, which is good. How do you scale skills so that they have meaning in later game? Is there, you know, I think the really big thing I want to focus on and find a little bit, and this will all happen in our, you know, beta, a lot of it, is going to be around the idea of, yeah, I mean, it's always tough. But one of the big pieces, I think, will be around, oh my god, what was I gonna say? The beta and, oh, just around, like, keeping numbers low and trying to not let things get too far away. Right. Like, I don't want people maxing resistances. I don't want people, you know, with billions of damage and like they do have skills combining at higher levels to create hybrid skills. Oh, that's interesting. Thank you. I don't know if that really fits in Llama RPG, but that is a fun idea. I probably need to adjust a couple more skills and make them like a little more damage skills. But maybe I just need to do that in the one track for the mage. The other tracks, they're definitely more supplementary skills, which is for spells, which I think is, you know, where they mostly should be. But I want the gameplay to feel challenging and a bit like unique. Just takes time. Jessica. I think the helmet, you have to be in Nightmare though.
This monastery reeks
Nightmare cows.
with evil and corruption.
But yeah, having all the various systems and making sure they all work together is the part that is gonna take some good balancing. Because it's not like there's a bunch of like crazy systems, whatever things, but just basic systems. You have your weapons, you have your attack and defense, you have your skills, you have like just all your items in general, I suppose.
Can't carry anymore.
You have your stats, and it's like making sure that none of those are insanely overpowered, none of those are worthless. I think that's like a really important piece.
I can't.
So, yeah, I think we'll be great and unique, but what character will I choose for D4? Probably Sorceress, maybe Barb. Both look good.
Join my army of the dead.
So I was talking to my friend's younger brother who plays RuneScape, and he was talking about super rare items with a 1 in 400 drop chance, and I couldn't help but laugh lol.
Yeah. Didn't you say it's okay to have worthless skills or skills that are less good? Yes. 100%. Not every skill needs to be
This monastery
balanced the
reeks
exact
with
same.
evil and corruption.
And something to go with that a little bit is it's because it is fun to play suboptimal builds and different builds and whatnot. I think in a turn-based game, you know, you'd like to have them a little bit more, but it's like, you know, let's take Magic the Gathering, for instance, right? Because that's a turn-based combat game. Obviously, it's a card game and a little different. But let's take that, for example. You'll have a monster that is, you know, a 4/4 for 4 mana, and then you'll have another monster that is a, you know, 5/5 for 4 mana. And there could be literally nothing else on the card.
I can't.
One is just a 4/4, one is just a 5/5. And it's just purely a better card. They could both be green as well. The only difference could be something like this one is a dinosaur and this one is a beast.
This monastery reeks
You know?
with evil and corruption.
Is that a bad thing? No. I think it's actually good. It would be awful if the game had everything so perfectly exactly lined up, whatever, because in certain cases when you're playing a beast build, okay, that 4/4 beast is better than the 5/5 dinosaur because I can use cards to activate for beast, whatever stuff, blah blah blah, get it out. Additionally, you can have, you know, you have like card limits and stuff for it, so you can't just stuff it with all the best stuff. There's the different times that it comes out and whatever. But you know, just having like a big mix and match on power and cards, I think is a really good thing. It gives you kind of a baseline. It gives you different ideas of what you're taking, when you're taking it. And yeah, again, this one might be a little better there. But something we could do in llama RPG, and something again that you could possibly do in that game, is I could say, hey, This spell does, with one skill point in it, 8 to 10 lightning damage. And this spell does 5 to 6 water damage. And you go, well, that seems silly. Why would I ever use the water damage one? Well, in one case, you may want to use water instead of electric. So just right there, it gives you that as an option. But number two, you could have the idea of, if I'm using the electric, maybe that costs more, right? Mana cost. Nice and easy. And so again, there you get the idea of the bigger, smaller, all of that, just by mana cost. Or if we have a PP system, which I'm debating. I'm still not 100% certain if that's something I want yet. You only get, you know, 2 uses of that. Yeah, kind of like Pokemon does, right? So I feel like you have to use one or the other a little bit. I was kind of toying with using both, where you would both have a PP system and a mana cost system, but it feels like too many systems for it. I think you need to just say, you get to use this skill one time before you go back and heal it and get more, or correct. And that is actually true, Small But Whole. There is a bonus to lightning damage if your target is soaked in water. So, if you use the water spell and you manage to soak the opponent, even though you do less damage, now you have, you can increase the damage later on if you get it all off, right? Get the combo. Oh gosh darn it. That's, Moo Girl's gonna love your name. Didn't even see it.
I can't carry anymore.
Temtem has a cool stamina system, better than PP. So how is the stamina system different from like a mana system? Because to me, if you say a stamina system, I think mana. Regens over time. Can use potion for it. You can be exhausted and go over. Interesting. All right, let's see. Stamina. Players. No longer be used, blah, blah, blah. Fair system. Temtem stamina system operates vastly different. While it serves the same purpose as PvP, stamina is more along the lines of a mana system, with 1 bar of stamina being used by all 4 moves. There's no individual move stamina to manage, and the stamina bar refills after every battle. It also refills a little bit at the start of every turn. Despite this, stamina is still something to keep an eye on. Each move uses up some stamina, which you can see thanks to a little number on the move. Stronger moves use up more stamina, and if Temtem's stamina runs out, it will hurt itself from overexertion, causing them to need a turn of inactivity to recover. So you have to balance it. Players sometimes need to refill the stamina bar in the heat of battle, which costs a turn regardless of the method employed. Rest will restore some. Ethers and tonics. I like that a lot, actually. I kind of want to take some of that.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Sorry, Commander. like, the idea I like about it is I really love the idea of having to balance weak and strong. Right? Again, I only have whatever it is, X stamina. I can't just spam my overpowered moves. I need to sometimes throw in weak little jabs. And if you note your opponent's stamina as well, you can have a, you know, okay, they're using a lot of stamina, so it becomes this resource that you're managing there. But kind of in a cool way. That's a little different from mana.
This monastery reeks with
I'm good, Andy.
corruption.
And in a way that I personally like better than like Builder Spender. I don't really like Builder Spender near as much. It's a similar idea, but I kind of like the idea of incorporating rest. Yeah. I kind of like the idea of having a rest option in Llama RPG. Like, for your action, you can attack, you can defend, you can counter, whatever. Or you can go for a rest. And maybe resting is just a skill, you know? Rest so cooldowns. Not exactly. Wait. Uh-huh. Okay.
This
Now.
monastery reeks with evil.
Yeah, and rest could give a little life and a little stamina. But again, it becomes this bar that you're watching of your opponent. In addition. 8 Tobs, thank you. Which is a little bit, you know, how I want the mana to function. I don't want mana to function like it is in Diablo 2. Where... Well, I mean, maybe if you think about Diablo 2 kind of when you're speedrunning around a little bit or something, but, you know, mana's pretty, like, whatever, and when you're dueling in PvP and whatever, everybody just has full mana, and it's not a big deal, and blah, 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 you know. So, yeah, I mean, that sounds like a really good system there. Thank you, Atabs. That was very sweet of you. I think PoE's potion refilling is a solid take. They messed it up when they went too crazy with all of the potions, where you just have to keyboard, right? You just do the piano flask every 5 seconds or whatever. Otherwise, I felt like it was interesting.
With evil and corruption.
You could add mana over usage. The more mana you use, the more it becomes unavailable for use until you rest. Can you say that a little bit more? I've got 6 points in Hal right now. Yeah, the D4 system wasn't too bad with it. There's still no potion system I'm fully in love with anywhere. I would say PoE was the closest. If they removed some of the old stuff. Dark Souls has a decent one, yeah. Just similar a little bit to what they go for in D4. Like a gray bar system. So you're saying every time I use a skill, it will use mana and also gray out some of the top. Of course, King. Alright, let's draw this out real fast. Mana system in Llama RPG. Here is your mana. It's a pretty nice mana, you might say. So your idea is, this is, let's say, you know, like 100 out of 100. Okay? So I use a spell, and that spell is this much mana. Right? And what happens additionally is a fourth of that now turns gray. So if the next turn I regen a bunch of mana but I haven't rested, I will only go up to this much mana. Kind of like a reserve. And then as I continue to use more mana, let's say I use this, then we'll gray out like here. And then we use this. And then we'll gray out to like here. Oops. And so ultimately the idea is, you know, halfway through the battle or something, you may look something like this, or you may eventually get to the point, if it's a long battle, where it's like this. And you only have, you know, 40 out of 100 mana that you can actually use. This is to Llama RPG. And then you can't use 50 mana moves or spells, exactly. And so you have to balance resting. And when you rest, it'll then, you know, give you back. Maybe it gives you all of it back. It's kind of like a pit stop, is my thoughts. And so you have to balance how often you're taking pit stops, because the lower you let that go, and you still have your mana regen and all of that stuff. You do this in another game, and it's with health, not mana, and it's prevented from healing. Yeah, it's a little bit like repairing a weapon or whatever it is. I've definitely seen it. That's right. In Hunt Showdown, you have the bars. And once you get past a bar on health, that bar grays out. Or every time you drop down, whatever. And your lowered max health pool. From the burn, that's right. Nice, Johnny. That's what mana burn should be. Mana burn should decrease the maximum reserves. Be interesting. Where'd that dust shroud go?
Impossible.
15 ED. Let's go, baby. I'm using the right weapons. Oh, you mean in here? Yeah, of course. Deal more damage to someone who's fatigued. Yeah.
With evil and corruption.
All right, let me jot this down. Idea. Fatigue system. Burn every time you use a spell. It will chip away at the reserves of your mana pool, so the maximum will be lower. Offensive spell attack that reduces max mana until rest. I think you could have both. Like, you need to use rest skill sort to restore that back to maximum. And again, this is something I really like, because I felt like you can already stream D4. I don't believe that's true. I don't even think there's a version of D4 that's streamable. Just play D3? Oh, you're right. Yeah, of course. Would I be down for playing D3? I'm okay, thank you. Well, you have fun. Language.
Greetings.
Greetings.
Due to assassin skills with visionary. 17 strength, 12 dex. Wow. Man.
Good day.
That's right, Andy.
This monastery reeks with evil.
But yeah, I'm really liking it. I'm trying to iron out the... Well, it's ethereal, so... Trying to iron out the fatigue system there a little bit. But yeah, I was kind of looking and I was like, mana is an okay system, but mana is also a slightly bland system a little bit. You know? But it's very generically good And it's existed forever for a reason because it works. Right? Simple pay resource.
I am overburdened.
Get what you want. So, you know, so it's got plenty of good to it there. But I like the idea of having one more. You get to do 3 actions per turn. 2 of them can be any action. 1 of them has to be a spell. That'd be nice, Commander. What's for dinner tonight? Hopefully Chipotle. What's tonight, Monday?
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
The toxicity level. I don't know what that level is. Fatigue could increase the cost or decrease the effectiveness of some skills slash actions. Hard to speak there. My thought is fatigue potentially lowers evasiveness and speed a little bit. Like, this slightly reminds me of in this really weird way. If when I say it, it'll be like, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. But there's a game called Twilight Struggle. It's a beautiful board game, one of my favorites. And in Twilight Struggle, the scoreboard is like this. We'll just pretend like this is all even and whatever. These are all even squares. Right? And this is the 0, and this is 20 victory points, and this is 20 victory points. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, blah, blah. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, blah, blah, blah. And so basically, it runs like this, and it runs like this. Right? And so every time that I gain a victory point, you lose a victory point. Right? If it is currently here and you're at +5 victory points and I gain 2 victory points, it just goes to you're at +3 victory points. Right? And so ultimately you want to get, your 20 victory points to win, but you're always battling with your opponent on it. So if your opponent is going really hard into victory points early on, you have to make some noise, do some disruption, go a little bit yourself to get some of those victory points to balance it down, right? You can't just be setting up the whole, like arm wrestling, right? Every time I'm pushing this way, it's always that struggle back and forth where it's not like I gain a victory point and it's irrelevant to your count, right? There's only 40 chips or whatever, and we're always stealing them back and forth from each other. Or 20 chips. Thank you very much, Bloomy. So my thought is it could potentially be a little bit like this in the way of you have, over here, you've got like mana. And over here you have fatigue. And it just kind of follows that same line of, of like that struggle. Maybe this one should be gray. And so as things move down the track this way, you're going to be, having less value. I mean, again, it doesn't exactly correlate over there, but some sort of struggling piece. I mean, this is making me more think of having a system over here that's not fatigue, but having a system over here that's like beneficial, you know. But I don't want that exactly. That's too complicated. Because then you could actually, you know, if this is like life or something, right? And so you had to balance how much mana versus how much life you had in the way of they struggle. But I don't think I like it in that capacity. Chance for spell or action to fail. Yeah, my thoughts are just there. With your fatigue, it comes a slowdown. You get maybe a slight... It's like if you have 0 fatigue, your accuracy remains at 100%. Evasion will be 100% of whatever your value is, etc. And as that fatigue drops, so every time you use a spell, all of your values will slowly drop down. Single player, is that worth it? I love single player. Right, you see it in a movie. A person can cast a spell when they reach a certain level of fatigue. Exactly, if you're just too exhausted. So, but again, it's like energy is the base of it still, you know? Nah, it's just health regen today.
I can't.
Right. Whenever you're ready for it, Rag. Throw me some high runes, we'll do it. Singer versus singer. Sounds fun.
With evil and corruption.
Needs to feel better than just having another mana resource alongside your first one.
I can't carry.
Hey, Facet.
I am overburdened.
So the thought is it's only a negative. And it'll really make you consider spending using large spells. But also it'll make you consider like how often you're resting. And maybe put more importance on things like, I mean, mana regen a little bit, though fatigue would kind of be separate from mana and mana regen. But it would give you another system to balance. And I'm just trying to make sure that it doesn't end up too complicated in the fight, right? No Grail overlay, yeah, because we gotta... I'm just trying to math it out. Hanga. Right. This is like Blizzard cinematic quality level. So, maybe I should have brought up... I don't have that. Okay. So, like, you have... life and mana. We'll say you have 100, I have 100 of both of those. And they also have their life and mana. And then let's say we have, you know, these are our spells to choose from. This one costs 5 mana and does 6 to 8 damage. This one costs 10 mana and does, 10 to 11 damage. And this one costs 25 mana and does, 30 to just 30 damage. Thank you, Turovic. Yeah, there will be statuses as well and all that stuff. But my thought is mana regen versus fatigue. Only spell casting? No, you also have just your attack, right? This is just your spell pool. Could be an optional system for those who want a challenge. Could be interesting. I don't know. It's just something to think about.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
It's turn-based, yeah. Hi, Mars.
I can't carry anymore.
Goldie, thank you. Welcome, everybody. How's your stream? I like the idea there of it maybe just slowly creeping. Number of actions you get. Fatigue is a stat for extra actions during your turn. If you do too much stuff every turn, your fatigue drops, which prevents you from doing an extra or even only one action per turn if you have really low fatigue. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. That's actually really interesting. So instead of the game always being 3 actions per turn, there is essentially this. Let's make these guys a little smaller. So essentially it would be, I'm gonna spread life as well up a little bit. Essentially it would be like this. Let's go right there.
Heart, heart, heart.
Mwah. Thank you, Daddy. While you have fatigue, graphics is amazing. Thank you. In this zone, you get 3 actions on your turn.
Hope all is well. Haven't really been on Twitch lately, but I can't let my prime go to waste.
Once it gets down to here, you only get 2 actions per turn. And once you get down to here, you get 1 action per turn. Thanks, Triple Jesus. That, to me, is the most interesting. Because, like I said, right now, battle is... Let's see if I have the battle. Where did I put that? Ah, perfect. Here is... Here is the current battle scene. You have action, action, spell. Why did I not save it? We'll use this one. And so like I say there, we could have like... like this. It probably needs to be on its own bar, but I do like the idea of it reducing mana, maximum mana, and potentially reducing maximum health as well. Would be really interesting. So the UI would have to be well done. But then, yeah, it's like, you know, 1, 2, oh, oops. 1, 2, 3. Right, Doom. And then this will gray out over time. And if you don't rest. That's super interesting. Because then you're just going to have to mix in. I don't know if I want any 4th action. I feel like having just that 3rd one. Max HP doesn't make sense as fatigue HP regen does, though. Yeah. But then it gives you the idea of, as well, when am I using 1 action versus 3 actions? Am I playing a little defensive to start and then attacking and going all out?
I can't carry.
Fatigue, you get 3 actions per turn. As fatigue fills. The 3rd action can enhance one of your actions? I mean, that's what a lot of the skills are. A lot of the skills are like you deal 50% more fire damage, your next attack does 20% more damage, blah, blah, blah. So that's just a lot of the spells in the game have that interaction. But yeah, I'm really liking that system because it gives more than a basic mana I mean, the thought is almost, do we even need mana? Or should everything just have a fatigue cost instead?
This monastery reeks.
But then that's
with evil
a
and
decent
corruption.
sized change to the game. Obedience and man catcher or a war pike? Both will be good. War pike, you'll get higher damage. Man catcher, it'll hit faster. It kind of depends what you're wanting mercenary to do. Level makes an interesting fight. The last level of Legacy of the Void. What do you mean by you lose skills? Like you're playing as like Kerrigan and she has like now you can't cloak, now you can't EMP. That sort of stuff. Obviously it's Legacy of the Void, but your sentries can no longer force field. Fatigue and mana are essentially the same action. No need to revamp. Well, they're the same, but they're not the same. They're the same, but in reverse order. Fatigue is building, and mana is draining. And mana consumption.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Mana consumption is more of a generic resource, whereas fatigue could also be applied to your basic actions. If you swing with your sword, you're also getting fatigued. And I do still kind of like the idea of fatigue affecting your maximum amount of mana. Because mana is essentially, in my opinion, like an energy, right? You're using your energy in a way. And so, you know, when you're like tired, it's harder. One, you don't recover as quickly, but additionally, it would like take a while to recover up. You have to rest. You won't just go back to maximum energy, right? Even if you have like good regen. No, I don't want to build a spender. I thought Hearthstone was just you get 1 mana per turn, and then it just goes up to 2 and then 3. Yes, any 2 actions plus 1 spell, however, you will lose one of those actions. Each turn. Oh, oops. Of course, for science. I did finish the source in D2. A running back for a 100-yard TD is fatigued. A running back playing 50 snaps all game has energy depleted. Is that how you're thinking of them differently? A little bit, yeah. Overload spells are generally cheap but powerful. The trade-off is you overload X mana for your next turn, and your available mana is less than what it could have been. Okay. So you're saying I play this card, and it is only 2 mana, but next turn I lose 3 mana. So I get a really strong 2 mana drop, but then on the next turn I'm going to be in trouble. Gotcha. No, you should not max energy shield. Extra skills to turn the estimation return. I mean, maxing energy shield and all that can be really nice if you want. I would go there. If you go to Icy Veins and you go to the Lightning Sorceress, I should have a 200 FCR build. Skills. Gear and runes. It depends if you're going for ES as well. Do I have a 200 FCR? Actually, I don't have a 200 FCR build because I didn't feel like a lot of people would get up to 200 FCR. Griffins, Hodo, Skin of the Viper Magi, a 210 or 220 Ami, Spirit, Arachnid Mesh, FCR rings, 20 FCR gloves, and you should get there. For the build, you probably can just follow the exact skill build I put there. And again, whether or not you want to go into Energy Shield or be Vitality is all your choice. If you do go into Energy Shield and you have the spare points, you'll put them into Telekinesis though, as it'll increase better.
This monastery
Perfect, thank you, Johnny.
with evil and corruption. I am overburdened.
Use Whiz Pike and Fortitude for max mana. There you go, yeah, you can bounce it around, mix around a few things here and there if you need. Lightning only needs 194, but if you want the 200 for teleporting.
Mr. Llama, good to see you today.
Sir Corbin Dallas, multi-pass, thank you very much. Oh yeah, we gotta see what facet we got. That's right. Yeah, declones were going crazy yesterday. They're just over and over and over again.
Stay a while and listen.
3-4 lightning. Gross. Oopsies.
This monastery reeks.
That's great. It would take forever. Farm normal for Null Striker? We'll get it when we get it. If it is like crazy at the end, we can wait till the end for it. But Tyrio's Might is main focus. Is which for this week or last week?
I can't.
I know. The Guardian Naga's a weird one. I haven't climbed in a little bit. Since Moogirl's been pregnant, really. She hasn't really been able to climb. And so that was my, climbing partner. Next speedrun race will be on the 1st, yes.
I need a key.
Exclamation mark, baby!
Hey Llama,
Wow,
getting
geez.
here late and was wondering if we found anything of importance. As I type 1 see the facet. Here you go.
Thank you. Facet was all, really.
Monastery reeks with evil. and
Nothing crazy
corruption.
today. We found a cool idea for Llama RPG.
I can't carry anymore.
It's not a dating app. So, in your instance there, the quote-unquote overloaded skills are the ones that
I can't. I am overburdened.
would just Can I make a 100k Iodol option? Maybe it'll be say hello.
Good day. This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
100 grand hello. Name the baby llama.
100k option. Name that llama baby.
Uh-huh. Convince Moogirl on it, you're good. I was thinking so let's say I need a new paint. This is health, mana, 1, 2, 3. Now, a problem that I'm thinking of or seeing or whatever is the idea that this is actual in-game footage, yeah. Here is the start screen for the game. Photo chess! Hello! Thank you for the raid. Okay. We're just discussing Llama RPG. The greatest game to come in the future. I think you're going to be a great grinder in it, Photo Chess. I think you would do quite well. And hello everyone. So the thought would be, let's say I have, this is actions. Okay. And we got that action, and then like this action, and then let's just... Now obviously I can only use 3 actions, but let's just have a random pick of them. So there is rest, there is ember, engage, poison hex, fireball, whatever, right? So this can have a mana and a fatigue value. Maybe it's like mana and energy. Maybe that's like a better name. We'll say fatigue. Fatigue. Or stamina. I like energy. We'll put damage. So this could do 0 damage, mana, gain 20 mana, and gain 20 energy. Something like that. That's your resting. Ember. Could be like 5, 3, 1. Engage could be like 8, 10, 1. Poison hex could be like 3 over 3 turns. And it might cost like 6 mana, but 2 energy. And fireball could be like 14, but it costs 4 energy and 12 mana. You know, something like that, right? And so again, this is your 100 out of 100 up here. But whenever you use Ember, you only shave off 1, 1, 1. But if you use Fireball, you shave off like that whole chunk. On top of the mana being drained is also going to be greater. Now, my main thought is, small battles in this game will not take very long, right? If I'm in Pokemans and I go and fight a Pidgey, then I might kill it in a single turn. So my thought is fatigue will actually carry through your battles. And so you have to either go back to base to ultimately remove all of this, or through multiple resting. But maybe even this is only like percentage based. But then, because if this continues down, well, it doesn't have to be often. If you have 100 energy, and these are the cost for the spells, it's not too bad. Could maybe get a little bit back after you get some kills, maybe, yeah. Having to go back to base doesn't seem very, very value added. I think going back to base is actually a lot of value add. It's something that newer games really shy away from, but there's something really good about going to town, stashing items, going to the vendor, whatever thing, in a good way, have like good importance. Games where you can literally stay out on the battlefield the entire time are actually kind of rough there.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
This game won't be for a speed rusher? Oh, it totally will. Diablo 2, you have to go back to town all the time to get more potions, to sell your items, to repair gear, get more arrows, whatever things. There's a lot of things that send you back to town. And Diablo 2 actually sends you back to town a lot of times in a lot of different ways. And that's actually one of the things I think is really great about the game that a lot of people don't appreciate. There really is a lot of town in this game, but the towning, you know, a lot of times feels decently meaningful. Right, that's also how you connect with the NPCs. And what I love is they don't overload you with NPCs and stuff either, so you really do get a connection to Akara, to Charcy, you know. Make the fatigue a real possibility during farming for resources. Ooh, that'd be interesting too. I actually don't know. I'm liking this more and more. More HP regen. God. But yeah, this is starting to sound really cool. Again, has to be in practice and stuff, balanced nicely, but it goes a little bit in the idea where I wanted to have a PP system and I wanted to have a mana system, but they weren't fitting together very well. But this feels like it fits a lot better. Where you just have energy or fatigue or whatever it is. Yes, and it needs to not be the only reason you go to town. Hey, Nacho. And it's a bit... I don't know, Don't Feed. I don't know. Having higher values between fatigue thresholds could be a meaningful power creep. Ooh, Superior Warpike. Ah, it's not ethereal. But still, look what it is. One open socket. Worthless. Amarin. I was like, I know I heard a rune. Perfect for a chipped emerald, exactly. Exactly. That's exactly my thought, is it'll be really good for dungeons and all sorts of, like, fights leading up to a boss. You don't walk into the dungeon and just blow your big spells everywhere all over the place, you know? It's like you go in and you kind of play this like slow, timid game where you're trying to figure out how long is the dungeon, how much do I need to reserve,
This monastery reeks,
you know, for these fights.
corruption.
And I think that really does have a really cool feeling to it as you learn that and feel it out. Yeah, it gives you even more reason to think about what you use instead of this just does the most damage or whatever. Cool, this does the most damage. You use Fireball, 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 and now you're super fatigued. And then you gotta move on to the next fight. Which is why I almost... I'm really thinking how much rest should affect it, you know? That's gonna be the big piece.
Hello.
Because if you can just... If it's a full 100% rest... I know, Steven, I know. Then it's too good. You can just go rest one time and then everything's gone and it doesn't matter. So
This monastery reeks.
I think rest can't be in that way. And there needs to be, again, kind of that penalty a little bit for... If I come in and blow all my big spells on all the monsters, I can't just take one monster off and rest and get it all back.
Larui Jenkins.
Leroy Jenkins. Yeah, you can definitely start building in stuff that utilizes fatigue amounts and...
I can't carry anymore.
Slayer Guard. I do know when the runes drop. Yeah.
Good to see you.
If rest took up all 3 actions of a turn. Jeez. Oh, well, I like the other sounds too.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
From the very start. Rest has monetization potential. Get out of here. Leave and never come back. And that is how the game is ruined. That's what happens if Llama RPG gets bought. They instantly put in a void rest for $4.99.
I am overburdened. I am overburdened. Not enough mana.
What a deal. Trying to think about how much rest should restore. I like the idea of going into a dungeon and the fatigue following you around. Would need to visit town to get rid of it fully. But I don't want someone in a battle just going and fighting one mob and resting over and over again to get rid of it. That's right, Kane. Have a small rest nap that uses 1 action turn, and a full rest sleep that uses 3 actions. Put that in the Llama RPG channel. You should get perks every 3 to 5 levels. I haven't played Fallout, so I don't know those pieces.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
And I like that idea. If you want to be ballsy and go for the big sleep, take the full turn off.
I am overburdened. I am overburdened.
Play Fallout 2. Good one to get some info from. Yeah, I'm always looking for really interesting systems. For sure, Tadiki.
I can't. I can't carry anymore.
It was interesting to kind of freshen up on some of it. And that's not everything exactly we know. Some is outdated and stuff, but...
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
But again, I still don't like the idea of if I am in a dungeon, I can, you know, not... It kind of takes away the main idea,
I am overburdened.
which is the PP.
I can't carry anymore.
Yeah, maybe it's... I mean, if you're in a battle... To me, the idea of resting is like you're putting your hand on a stump for a second, you know? Like, you and this monster are fighting, you gotta... just catch your breath. And then, like, the full restore is where you take 3 actions, and that might be where you, like, run and hide. Really quick.
Greetings.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
But, you know, the idea is... I mean, let's take... Let's take this, for example. Right. This is the Elite Four in Pokemon. There you go. You fight Lance, right? Or whatever. So this is the Elite Four in Pokemon. And here, you've just got your PP. Right? 5 out of 5. PP, 10 out of 10. Plus you have your 6 Pokemans. Right? So the idea is you don't get to, like, as you work your whole way through, this is dropping. This is 8, then it's 4, then it's 2. At the same time, this Pokemon died, this Pokemon died, this Pokemon died. Right? So you have resources in the way of 6 Pokemon. Each Pokemon has resources in the number of PPs that it has. Sorry, fainted. So, if we go to llama RPG, my fear is green will be llama RPG. I get to, you know, let's pretend like it's not just trainers. I get to all the way over here, and there is this little monster. Bloop, 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 bloop. And I just quickly fight this monster. And I restore I rest a bunch over and over again. Rest, rest, rest. And then all the fatigue is gone. Everything is restored. And then I go fight the boss or whatever. You know? Front view, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'm figuring out which one. Probably not isometric, though. It just is making me think.
I can't carry anymore.
I'm just thinking through different options. One is there's no way to restore it unless you go to town. And so it's something where as you move through, why not make PP reset at the end of the fight? Well, then every fight is
This monastery
right.
reeks
The thought is this there is no PP, but the fatigue that we have, I think it carrying through multiple battles would be good, because a lot of battles, for instance, if I'm battling against Pidgey, then I'm just going to use my massive spell and kill it in one shot, and then I'll just do it over and over and over and over and over again, and it's totally fine. Right? RPG shouldn't be like chess, where you think 10 moves ahead. I actually disagree. I think that's very much what makes RPGs fun.
I am overburdened.
RPGs originally came from D&D, where you were constantly thinking ahead. That's like the basis of what all like old school RPGs were. It was, let's build D&D into a video game where there's lots of complexity, lots of, you know, all of the different variables, and there's weak things and good things, all of that. RPGs nowadays are just like, blow everything up, there's fantasy and it's crazy, wee! You know. But old school RPGs came from the time where people wanted to sit down for hours and hours and hours and grind away with their friends. And have lots of thought and time investment, and it took a while. If you just want number get bigger, don't think, then this market of RPGs is perfect for you. And I'm not saying you're wrong for wanting that. There is nothing wrong for enjoying that kind of game. But that's not what old RPGs really were built around and the basis. Perception effects, chance to hit, range damage, constitution, max achieve resistant fatigue. Yeah, definitely something with fatigue. I'm really liking the idea of where we're at.
I can't carry anymore.
We don't quite have it yet. Oh, Spirit Lord. The Spirit Ward.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I am overburdened.
I mean, anybody can go and find a pay to win, you know, in the old days you could go and buy an account on eBay. Like, yeah, anybody can always cheat a system. Again, if you go back to D&D fights, complexity in battle was huge. There was a lot of thinking of where I was standing, how I was going to fight, what sorts of rolls and checks I would make. D&D was turn-based game. It's not RPG. I don't think you understand what RPG is. RPG is role-playing game. If you're thinking of ARPG, that's an action role-playing game, which is still a role-playing game, which is still the same idea. It's just now the turns, you know, all move at the same time. But I still love having, you know, thought and everything in how I'm positioned, how I'm fighting. It's just now I don't get to let, you know, my opponent. But D&D is like the OG RPG, so, you know. Alright. So let's see. You've never played D&D. There you go.
I am overburdened. This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
One bar stamina. So how does it work? Okay, so the stamina bar refills after every battle in Temtem. So in Temtem, what do you do for, what, I mean, for all the like basic monsters, right? Are there fights that take 2 to 3 turns? Because in that case, you would never use your weak spells on those, right? Because you always just come in, blast them away, and then just move on. And that may just be something we have to look at. You definitely accumulate fatigue. Huh. So how do you get rid of that fatigue? Perk skills items waiting. So could you, in the middle of whatever, just go fight a single monster and just rest and get rid of all and be fine? Maregi with 15. Because that sounds bad.
It's me, bitch. Just finished watching Rainbow Sorceress Season 2.
Yeah.
90 minutes faster than the first one.
Wow.
Spirit, Blaze movement speed, and Mercs doing more. Teleport charges were allowed the first time too, so boom odds. January we do Rainbow Barbarian, or should we
God.
kill?
Rainbow Barb. How did I do Barb last time?
Impossible.
See, that's kind of my thought, Epi, but then that means you're not able to really rest it up. Oh, interesting, Johnny.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
So this brings up a couple of ideas, one of which is this. If I am out fighting, I cannot... Like, I'm thinking you can't rest in a dungeon. Or maybe it's just the idea, because I do like the idea, you go to town and it will clear it all up. So I'm trying to balance right now PvP as well. And maybe PvP, it's different, you know. Thank you, G-Guards. But the idea of resting is that resting happens in battle. Because again, I really like the idea of in a battle, if I'm doing a PvP battle with you, as this fatigue grows throughout the battle, there's got to be times where I'm going to rest to get rid of that. But it might just be good to have in PvP, whenever you rest, you get all of it gone. And so then that becomes a different fight in a way, right? You can rest mid-fight in PvP, but then you're gonna, you know, get that. So, yes, Ned. No, you would not be able to go to town in a dungeon. If you do, it puts you at the front of the dungeon again. So you have to beat the dungeon in the whole capacity. How do I imagine that thematically? Well, you have wings. Wings are how you leave or fly to town or things like that. And so if you're in a dungeon, you can't fly out of the dungeon. In PvP, how do I imagine the resting? Maybe it's a stimmy then or something. I mean, I'm imagining again, in the fight, you take a beat. And if your opponent chooses to act on that, cool. If not, maybe they're too far away or something, you know? They're doing their own action. They're healing or something in that time. A dungeon have any checkpoints where you could sip on a well to restore a bit? I like that idea. So, yeah, maybe... What I'm struggling to balance in my mind or thinking about right now is the idea of you can only do 1 action, 2 actions, or 3 actions depending on how fatigued you are. Because I don't want you to fight through a dungeon, get to the final boss, and only have 1 action to use, right? Now, there could also be right before the boss, you get to rest up, and so all of that goes away, so you get to fight the boss at full. But I don't really like the idea of the entire dungeon wrecking how many actions you get to use. I think that's getting a little painful. Now, they could also have consumables that maybe get rid of some fatigue. I have not tried Dark Ascension, no. And so maybe that's it. I mean, major and minor actions are kind of decided by right here, how much energy it takes. Yeah, the wells idea is also interesting. Consumable that you can use outside of battle to remove some fatigue. There are passive skills in the game, yes. One's for during battle, yeah. With a checkpoint before the boss, you assume the boss could be made harder because you assume the player will be full, similar to a grace in Elden Ring. I was kind of thinking that as well. If you die to a boss, you spawn outside of the boss room, and it is similar to a grace in Elden Ring, 100%. I really liked that because then it's like, okay, I don't have to keep going through the entire dungeon if this boss is really hard. So it gives you unlimited attempts, but then you can make the boss really hard. The difference is Elden Ring is an ARPG where you're, learning the fight in that capacity. And this is not quite that. And so, it's going back and forth. But even if I think back to, like, if I am Brock or fighting, a gym in Pokemon, if I beat the guys getting up to the gym, then that's fine. I do not know Coco, no. Right, you'll still have to learn the boss's moves and, weapons and what sorts of damage he does and all of that, right? But shoving them all, if you push them all the way outside of the dungeon, then I think the boss has to be much easier. Otherwise, that's pretty brutal. So I like the idea of, like, the dungeon being one piece of it. Learning how to get all the way through the dungeon. And the second part is learning the boss fight and fighting the boss. And those are like 2 separate pieces, kind of.
This monastery reeks with evil
That's true. I mean, I love the Elite Four for it, but that's the very end, right? Yeah, you don't know what's going to happen when you fight the Elite Four. And you have to fight all 5 bosses in a row, and that's at the end of the game, and I love that at the end of the game. I think if every dungeon was like the Elite Four, you'd be like, man, I just want to make some progress. It was a level faster, I think. Our drops have been so bad for weeks now, though. It's kind of makeup RNG because we went from 26 items left to 12 items left in like a month or something. It was crazy.
I can't carry anymore.
Not wasting everything to lose 6 MS.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Whatever it is, it's worse. Did I? Ah, that's right.
I am overburdened.
680 something. Oh boy.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Wow, nice Ishi. Oh, I need to do some P-Gem rolling. Some GCs.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
Single player keeps the maps. Champ Skellies. Where's this? Am I fatigued? Probably.
I can't carry anymore. It's locked.
Good day.
But doors the buttons, doors you have unlimited attempts, you have to do core dungeons. Yeah, exactly. I mean, maybe it is just a consumables thing.
And corruption.
Jalen hurts injury. My fantasy season is over, sad face.
What? Wait, when did he get injured? I never saw him leave the game.
I can't carry anymore.
Collarbone? Is it broken or is it just like little... Dang. That's huge. Yeah, and I think the nice idea is by making gold very important. Dang, I know, that's a huge loss. Sprained right shoulder? Okay. So yeah, I think it is, I think it will be that then. So next week's game is meaningless though, right? Because we lost and they won, so we're too far behind them, and we've already clinched as well. No? What implications will it have? Just for like seeding, I guess, if we have to... Division? Don't the Eagles have the division locked up? If we win... We'll be still 2 games behind though, right?
I can't carry anymore. Impossible.
If Dallas wins out and Philly loses out. Okay. That's rough. Don't they still get to play the Texans or something?
Stay a while and listen.
Dallas Saints Giants.
Monastery reeks with evil and
Okay. But yeah, so if consumables have value and aren't just like potions in Diablo 2 where they're basically infinite, then fatigue gains back some of that value, and fatigue reduction potions gain back some of their value as well.
impossible. Impossible.
You got it, Sharon. Vikings, my god. Belts with implicit bonuses. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's for when I was doing my ski stream. So people could follow along where we were. Exactly, FP.
I can't carry anymore.
got a few different people from chat that are helping out. Because that was something I did feel like in Pokemon was good. Was the idea of consumables. Like I was always, you know, okay, using revives, using potions, using all that stuff. It wasn't infinite feeling. So if you have, you know, X potions you can carry with you, you can bring 8 potions around on your body or something. Then right. Not too many. But just, you know, you'll just have like a few health pots, a few mana pots, and a few fatigue pots, I suppose, or whatever. So maybe we need to add a belt to Llama RPG. That might be a good idea. Because otherwise, your potions will just exist in your inventory and take up those slots. But it feels like I don't want that competition, actually. So I think potion.
I can.
Oh, I think I do.
I can't carry you.
That's not bad, right? Yeah. I have a dog.
I can't carry you.
Yeah, if you want to do it that way. I feel like it either has affixes or it has
Corruption.
different consumable combos allowed. But I feel like that also can be limiting in its, you know, ways. This character can only use a belt that has these, or not only, but you know, I don't need many mana slots, so a belt with a lot of mana slots now becomes worthless even if it has amazing affixes. Or like the Soul series. Don't you just have like a certain number of drinks, flasks, and you just refill them? I mean, it's a pretty basic one, right? Do you think they shouldn't be items, just a built-in place to hold consumables?
I can't carry you.
I mean, my thought was by making them items, you could have yourself find a larger belt as you move through the game, so you can hold more consumables.
Good day. This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I am overburdened.
Yeah, I don't want to have all the potions in the inventory by any means. It is definitely going to be, you will have a belt. I do not remember that game. Right.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore.
I mean, I do... If potions couldn't exist in the inventory, it would be a big difficulty for D2, obviously, and there'd have to be huge other changes. But otherwise, I like the belt system in D2, where as you get further in the game to higher, better bases, you find belts that can hold more quantity. And or you can upgrade belts to hold higher quantities as well, you know? When's the Llama RPG stream? Are you just in time? You free to chat? Did he? What's his time? 42 minutes or something? Yeah, we're kind of doing it right now a little bit. 41:49. Sub 40 minute is the most wild thing. When that day comes. That's so fast. The final a choice between that is not a bad idea, Johnny. It may be, that might be expansion. I want to get the base built in first.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I can't carry anymore.
What's Riker doing? We're not doing anything particularly exciting today. I mean, I enjoy it, but for a restream, I'm not sure it's that exciting. Oh, okay. The D4 stuff.
This monastery reeks.
Gotcha. I thought he meant he was watching this one. I was like, where does Grail, man? Summer's almost here. Oh yeah, down there. I was like, no it's not. You did rant about fonts for too long. I just hate the font they chose.
I can't carry anymore. I can't.
I mean, you're gonna put that much work into making the game so beautiful and atmospheric, and then plaster on the lamest font on top of it, completely removing me from the atmosphere you just put me in. Yeah, I know. They're not gonna care.
Reeks
But
with evil and corruption.
it's alright, Llama RPG's coming. Lots of chatter about that.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
ARPG mod for Llama RPG. It just doesn't really fit with the game. The game is built to be turn-based. And for a reason, not just like, oh, because I couldn't figure it out or something. Like, I actually really want the game to be turn-based. What about bots? You'll get banned. Llama RPG 2, maybe. ARPG.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I can't carry anymore.
Now, you know something I have been thinking about for Llama RPG? Not set in stone, but...
Greetings.
I know. What if the monster you kill drops all of the items that the monster was using?
Monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
So as you're fighting it and seeing its items, you will start to be like, oh, that weapon's awesome, or whatever. Right. Really kind of to complete the fantasy. Now, The thing is, it would need to be... There's potential that it ends up bad. And I'll explain it in 1 second. Because I do... Yeah, maybe some items break in battle. That could be a good way to explain ones that you don't get.
I am overburdened.
It won't actually be that bad. So, really fast. A monster has... this. Helmet, boots, amulet, and then 8 of the... Well, I guess we do have this. Melee weapon. Range weapon, magic weapon, shield, 4 random of melee weapon, ranged weapon, magic weapon, shield. So all in all, a monster has 11 items total. Monsters don't have consumables. Because... So my thought is you're not actually using consumables in battle. Now maybe it is something where that is an action you can take is use an item. And that'll be one of your actions during the battle, so you can rest or heal or gain a little mana or something like that. So that probably does make sense to have that be an option. But I don't think I like the idea of monsters having consumables. I think monsters are going to be just monsters that are just like fighting through, right? It's like, would this Fallen carry around a potion and stuff? Yeah, so consumables will be from town, which will make it a lot more difficult. You're not going to be spamming health and mana potions all over the place. If you go into a dungeon with 4 potions, you get 4 potions for that dungeon, unless you find a potion in a random place in that dungeon. I'm just imagining all the little like monsters on the map, you know, moving around at normal speed, and then the one that's like, that's the one. He's got the faster run walk boots on. Go get him. There he is. There he is. One's got Enigma. He's just teleporting everywhere. Oh, that's so funny. Genius idea. Maybe they shouldn't drop what they're wearing. Well, they're not. You're not gonna see the faster run walk. They're not gonna move around like that. But I really love the idea of them dropping what they're wearing. But the problem, potential problem, is there's 11 items. Now, this brings up some points. Number one, some items could just break during battle. Right? This one breaks, that breaks, and that breaks. So already 4 or 5 of the items have broken. Oh boy, Kana. Hope he's not too harsh. Which then would leave, you know, man, I'm having deja vu. 4, 5, 6 items left that would then be able for you to look through and pick up. Right. Additionally, monsters could potentially not start with actually 8 full items. So basic monsters maybe only start with 4 or 5. You know, they'll random from 4 to 8 items. So then they could have less. So then it would be 7 to 11 items. Minus broken. And then that will give you their overall, you know, remaining. And that's what you get to loot. That says remaining, I promise. Can you take the broken stuff and repair it in town? That's also an interesting idea. My thought would be no. Looting 7 to 11 items per monster feels like a lot of loot. But you're also killing a lot slower. Like, for instance, if we're looking here, you know, the time it takes for me to kill and get, you know, 7 to 11 items. Let me find something I actually want to kill, you know. Alright, there's item, there's an item, there's an item. 3, 4, 5. If the items that drop are the same mobs are using, they'll be strong. Exactly. That's the point. So our current generation system wouldn't apply to the drops anymore. They would apply to giving monsters inventory. What if some random monster ends up with some epic drops and is like impossible to kill? That would be hysterical. But at the same time, you would want to kill that thing so badly. Because that would be the thing. As you are fighting a monster, and this is what I think could be bad. When I'm fighting a monster, I don't know all the items the monster has. But every turn, I will see, okay, they're attacking with a sword. And they're shooting me, or they're defending with this shield. Right? And they're using rain of water or something. So, yes, he will. So the problem is, one, I won't actually get to see all of their items, so I won't fully know what's going to drop. But what if I see the greatest sword to ever exist right there? And then that's not one of the dropped items. You know, like, what if they're using the grandfather or a grief phase blade, and then when the monster dies, I get like a crappy shield and a helmet, you know? Is that such a bad feeling? that it is a bad idea. Or is it a, you know, a good idea? Better to not peek behind the curtain like that at all. That's my thoughts. It's generally better to not peek behind the curtain because players hate having something taken away from them. If I saw the greatest weapon in existence and it didn't drop, I would be very sad, as opposed to if I saw, you know, saw it, I could freak out right then and go get it, you know, and then it's just all, can I get the kill? It's kind of like how in Pokemon's, a shiny can't run away. If you end up coming upon a shiny, it won't run away from you. You just have to, like, you know, catch it, deal with it, whatever it is, right? If we can get someone to do the language conversion, yes. It still might not drop because it broke. Well, that's what I'm saying. Do we want that to be guaranteed, where if you see an item, it will drop? Thus, when you kill a monster, you get to look through all of the equipment and all of the everything. I think if that's the case, it's not too bad. Well, the monsters could have awesome weapons, but they'll have lower values. Strength and dexterity and intelligence and all that stuff.
I can't.
Dizzy, thank you. I think there's a dog at my door. You want to come in here? Come on. Go to your bed. Hi. Hello. Good girl. Go lay down. Yeah, you get to, like, loot the equipment the mob is wearing. I mean, that's essentially what it is, which I think is... Is she feeling better? Whatever knows. She's always puking. We don't have named items in the game, so this combo is pointless. Why is it pointless? They would be dropping exactly the affix items that they're using. Like, this monster was wearing this rare belt. So I could see it and be like, yo, that's awesome. It means you get a lot of trash. I mean, I think the thought is two thoughts. Number one, there's always a lot of trash. But additionally, like D2, there's tons of trash as well. PoE, there's tons of trash. D3, there's tons of trash. Every game has tons of trash. But I am trying to build items so that there's less trash. And so the monsters will have nice gear on. Kind of weird looking at the opponent's inventory. You're not looking at their inventory, you're only looking at what they're attacking with. I think I like the... I mean, the thought is... Some items will break is good, but the problem or the thought I'm having is no matter if an item is broken or not, you're gonna pick it up, I would generally think. Unless we really make repairing expensive. You know? So, like, again, here is our monster. The boss will have all 11 items. But you know, monster has 7 to 11, some break. I don't like that, young rocker. Don't. Why introduce a material based on a monster type that you can play into your gameplay? Sharpening weight stones as drops could play into repairing your items. Well, monsters will drop materials. And that'll be used in crafting. Thanks, Santos. So at spawn, the loot table is set. Do all monsters spawn when you load in? So, let me... Where did I put this? Okay. So a monster will spawn... And it'll spawn with 8 items. So this is a level 32. It has a Wardor Shield, a Crystal Wand, another Wardor Shield, a Bone Wand, a Cedar Wand, a Conwitchy, and a Spiked Shield. Right. On top of it'll have, you know, a amulet, helm, boots, whatever. Well, like this would be like a champion monster. This is an elite monster. And then items themselves, we'll just generate some random stuff, will look as such. So this is a rare recurve bow. Here's its damage, reflect, burn, life per attack, mana regen. You know, this is a blue necklace, 15 water resist. Here's a legendary or an elite chest. Right, there's often there's a concern where they get the cool sword monster facing. I'm making more saying actually the sword and see him battle, see 111 chance. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we can drop 11 items.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
I don't actually know R4. Yeah, the monster will spawn on encounter. But, again, because you are killing stuff a lot slower, the idea of getting more drops, I think, isn't a horrible one. Right? Again, look how many drops I get in Diablo 2, which is one of the less spammy games of drops. In D3 or PoE, the whole screen would be filled. There is a blade barrier, a military axe, a cudgel, a small crescent, a ring, a flail, a cestus, a superior composite bow, all just from that short time. Thanks, D-Tech. You get a list to choose from after the battle. So after the battle, it'll show you all the items the monster had, and then you get to look over them and pick which ones you want to take for yourself. So in that case, the idea of seeing you know, 7 items, I don't think is actually terrible. What are the odds of 2 monsters having at least 1 exact same item? I mean, it's possible. There's plenty of, like, magic items with 1 affix, you know. I've never played Monster Hunter, but sure. So maybe it literally just comes up with this exact screen. Maybe it just has this. And it's just like, loot your kill. And then over here is, oops, you know, like inventory. Monsters are jacks of all trade. Potentially. Wouldn't this promote looking at monsters instead of actually fighting a bunch? What do you mean looking at monsters? You don't get to see what the monster has until you fight it. There will be some random encounters and some not. Do you also have totally random drops from enemies? Well, you'll never get to see a monster's helmet or boots or amulet. For weapons and shields, there are 8 potential combinations of weapons and shields they can carry, and they can only use 2 of them per turn. So if you kill something within 3 turns or 4 turns, you won't see all of the weapons and shields that monster is using either. Unless they exactly used all of their weapons or shields perfectly 2-2-2-2. So I imagine you won't see all the weapons and shields until like 8 turns on average at least. So if you can go 8 turns without killing a monster, you can see if it has loot worth getting or not. Monsters don't fight with giant claws or pincers. All the monsters will fight with the same weapons you fight with. Because all the monsters are other animals just like you. So you're all... Nope. No crabs. Or lobsters. Exactly, Fuse. So I kind of think that's interesting. I also do kind of think it's interesting, the idea. I was not going to have repairing in the game, And I'm not going to have it like D2, because that's like boring. But, I mean, it's cool for ethereal items. But I do kind of like the idea of repairing being a thing where items that you loot sometimes can be broken. So if you loot a super awesome item but it's broken, you need to go and repair it. Or give it some sort of
Thank you
know,
for the good tips and
try and
tricks. Way to
figure
go with
some
baby
way for
llama.
that repairing. Thanks, Metal. Appreciate that so much. What if it drops a rare shield token, which you need 5 to make a rare shield? I mean, I don't think it's a bad idea. I don't think it's for Llama RPG. I would rather get crafting materials that you use for then improving weapons and or trying to craft really cool weapons. And certain materials are used within, you know, okay, this will be good for crafting a shield. I need wood for crafting a shield. Let me go and, you know, get the wood off this monster. Just kidding. You would chop down trees for the wood. Oh, that fatigue system is fantastic, actually, you guys. Because now, fatigue suddenly can be useful for farming. If I want to go and mine that ore or chop that tree, that's going to fatigue me. Which doesn't seem too crazy until you think about the fact that if you're in a dungeon and you're halfway through the dungeon and there's really rare ore, you have to think, if I do this and fail, then I'm gonna get knocked out of the dungeon.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Or if you go really far away from a town, you might find awesome battle boots. Awesome trees out there which have really rare wood, and you can only kind of farm it for so long, right? There's like added travel time, everything like that, so you're a little fatigued if you go all the way out there to farm for it, so it's harder to farm it forever. The fatigue system is why you didn't enjoy Stardew Valley like everyone else did. I understand it in that capacity. And I'm trying to think of it in a way that it's not so much like that. Because in Stardew Valley, it is similar but different. I don't want to overdo the fatigue. 41% Travs. But I like the idea. No, it's in town. Wow, 20 all res, amazing. I like the idea of if I'm far away, I you know, like getting infinite awesome materials is OP, right?
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
So yeah, fighting monsters when you use skills. Can we just make monsters more difficult around awesome materials? Could also do that. But you're getting to choose how you walk up to it. So I'm just saying the trees right outside of town are not going to have the best wood in the game, right? You need to go travel to the Forest of Majesty far away. But I don't want you to be able to just infinitely chop trees while you're out there a little bit, you know? There needs to be some way, and that could be on, one, just a capacity of how much you can carry. That could be a simple way to do it. There could be an energy of that.
Stay a while and listen. This monastery.
And so the idea is, if you wanted... Aw, thanks, Pinson. The idea of, if you wanted, you could travel all the way to the Forest of Majesty and bring fatigue potions and whatever, and, you know, farm away, kind of invest your potions and things into that capacity. Yeah, skills have different amounts of fatigue they generate. Right, and so you just put the special wood at the end of the dungeon, but I kind of like the idea of it being... maybe it just needs to be there. You know, I was just thinking, I kind of like the idea of having the special wood at the end of the dungeon, and then you farming that special wood. You need to kind of determine how much wood you can farm without overdoing it, and then, like, not being able to complete the dungeon, you know? Get it.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Oh, yeah. Sustainable forestry practices, exactly. You can't just over-farm the area. Not being able to farm it is too punishing. I mean, you'd be able to farm it at a cost. You're classless, but you build into classes, and you can kind of dual spec and stuff. One major boss has to have a chance to drop 4 basic level 1 items. So I think bosses are going to have, like, guaranteed at least magic items.
Is it a problem when instead of cleaning up my work email inbox, I am organizing my shared stash?
I don't think so at all. Today's daily theme is more HP regen.
Hello. corruption.
I hated and loved the durability in Breath of the Wild. Playing the system felt bad for a while. And then eventually it kind of grew on me and I kind of enjoyed it. I thought it was really cool because I was using weapons of all sorts. I'd have a spear, and then I'd have a sword, and then I'd have this, and then I'd have that. I was just constantly bouncing around between weapons, and I thought it was really interesting. But I think the durability was too low, and that was the biggest problem. Right. There were many fights where I would go through like 3 or 4 weapons in a single fight. Plus like 2 shields or something, you know? And it was like, man, can these weapons, can these things at least last through a couple of fights?
What can I do for you?
Or you'd get an awesome weapon and then it was just done in like 5 swings and you're like, well, alright. So I really did enjoy it once I changed my mindset to not getting attached to anything. But I also hated how fast it was. Like I was like, even if you want to do that system, you gotta like double the durability at least on these items. So don't worry, Llama RPG is not doing that. You'll get to keep your items. 200 FCR is so fast, I know. You know what else is so fast? How fast it is to click that subscribe button. Especially if you have that Twitch Prime subscription, and you forgot to renew it this month. Quick, easy, and it'll buy some diapers for baby llama. Thank you, I like turtles. Attunement.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
How old's my kiddo? She'll be born in April.
Here is a Bezos diaper.
Thank you, Thanatos. Good, right? Negative 4 months old.
I can't carry anymore. I can't carry anymore.
Easiest barb to gear? Probably just your sing barb. Oh, it just had to end early, so they had to roll it early. So.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
It, yeah. Oh, good point. I'll wear it tomorrow if I remember. I think, you know, you could have the angel class be very much like a melee slash spellcaster combo that uses a lot of light-based electric skills. Thanks, Cherokee! Can I make melee better in Llama RPG than casting? Sure. I will try. Okay. Ideas for Llama RPG from today. 1. Add a belt similar to D2 style. Bigger P level equals more quantity. 2. Fatigue. Spell usage. Mining. Maybe not. Increases fatigue, which decreases max mana, number of actions taken each turn, and replace belt with saddlebag. Sword of 1,000 truths. Sorry for mic punches. And could also do things like slow. Once you kill, monsters spawn with items, and you get either all or some of those items. See ya, Rag. Thank you. Maybe upon death, you can just look items. Monsters, corpse, and was used, and what you want to take. We'll get to see some of the items during the fight. I also like that idea because then monsters really will be variable in their like damage and just their fighting and everything like that, which will be really interesting. So you can go out and fight one archer, and then you fight another archer, and it can have completely different, like, power and strength and what it's good at and all of that stuff. They'll both still use, like, you know, ranger skills, but one might have tons of, you know, cold res and fire damage and things like that, and the other one could have just spawned a bunch of trash items, and so he's not very strong. Like this arm has a giant pincer. Oh my god, with the pincer.
MVS Punch Necro or rewatch last night's Cowboys game?
Punch Necro. So you put a limiter, like a handicap on the monsters in that case, like 10% less of all stats of the items. Yeah, well, that's where in the beta we can definitely get a feel of like how good they are. And then we can do stuff like, oh, it's only 50%. Oh, mobs are only 50% of whatever weapons they have or something, you know. But my thought is by balancing them down with like really low strength, dexterity, speed, evasion, those sorts of things, that'll be a better way to like balance them. So that way, okay, if this item does, you know, 15 damage, and that's a ton of damage at that time, but they only have 7 strength, you with 22 strength would, you know, do a lot more from that, so. I'm hoping that's where the balance will be in. Okay. Llama RPG version of Torch. Hats.
Good luck,
Yeah.
Mr. Llama Ding.
In Llama RPG, you will get to collect cute little hats. Thank you, Grievous. And hats are basically like charms, except there's not an inventory space you have to worry about. You'll just have your little bag of hats. And each hat will give you a tiny little bonus. This hat might be 1 strength, that hat might be 1 mana regen, this hat will be 1 less fatigue or whatever. So you'll just collect a bunch of hats. You can have 1 of each kind of hat. And hats will come in a large variety of places. Some hats you may get, you know, like you can only get the Christmas hat in December. If you go and, you know, sit on Santa's lap or something. Other hats will be, you know, from beating a really hard boss or something like that. Another hat could be from pulling Grandpa's finger 1,000 times.
I am just saying,
hats.
pincers deserve a place in your game because
my
they are
God.
cool and good, and I like the hash justice for pincers. Hash llama hates lobsters.
Oh my god. No. Players 8, I've done that before. They're like, why is this so hard? Maybe I'll give you a hat with a pincer. I do kind of want to go eat lobster now. But I've got a baby on the way, so instead I am going to go to Taco Bell. Exclamation mark Pit Zerker.
Hello.
Try that.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Exactly.
I am overburdened.
We've been dating for a year tomorrow. Wait, no. A little bit late, a little bit longer. January.
I can't carry anymore.
Ooh, gold rune. Cause yeah, we had the first time I talked with her was December 20th. Thought it was a month after New Year's. Yeah, that's when kind of more dating. But I talked with her first because then we met, so I could go and watch her dog on New Year's Eve because I thought she was taking a date to the party. I was supposed to be
You
the
gotta
date.
ask her
It
if
was
you
a
can
whole
dog sit for her
confusing
on New
thing.
Year's.
It was confusing. I didn't know I was the person she was trying to.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I can't.
Anyways, a year ago since we started talking. Nobody. We're both older, so I'm 32, she's 34. We couldn't wait forever to have kids. No, we got the house and it's good to go. We got space for the baby.
I can't carry anymore.
So once you're set,
It's locked. This monastery reeks with evil and corruption. I am overburdened. Impossible.
I'm hoping to get her playing Diablo 2 by the age of 3.
I can't. Impossible. Impossible.
Yep.
I am overburdened.
Oh boy. I need my sleep.
I am overburdened.
Players 8 speedruns by 5. That seems good. Let me see if I understand it correctly. Jewels have always active additional substats fulfill their gem requirements. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying. So you're saying
This
as you
monastery
place gems around your equipment, those can unlock the additional bonuses. So then you're saying, alright, I need to have 2 emeralds and a ruby always for this jewel
I can't carry
to get its benefits. And then this one needs 1 emerald and 2 sapphires. So I need 2 rubies, 1 emerald, 2 sapphires or something. And then I can use both jewels. Yeah. So do you prefer D3? Then I send it back. No daughter of mine. You know when kids are teenagers and they just like say and do whatever it is to hurt you? They're just like, I'm gonna hurt you as bad as I can. I'm gonna go date the baddest boy or whatever. I'm pretty sure my daughter is just gonna play Diablo 3.
reeks with evil and corruption.
So I'll just be like, this is so fun, I can't stop!
I can't carry anymore.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Me and my friends play Diablo 3 every day. And I'll come home and I'll be like, yo, get that demon game out of this house. You are grounded. Just be like, I love that. D3 is my favorite. I'll be like, don't you say that. You can't take that back. So be like, I love D3 now. God. I will not have my CC on file on the Xbox. Nope. So, Moo Girl's niece enjoys playing Roblox. And oh my god, if that game is not always spamming children to pay money, it's insane.
This monastery reeks with evil.
What a garbage game. I don't even like know the game, but it is always spamming them for money. Like I swear, once a minute at least, there is a pop-up that appears and takes the whole screen up for her to purchase something. It's like, what? How is this trash game like?
I can't carry anymore.
Sounds about right, Doom. Nephew spent $3 grand on it before his sister realized. Yeah, because it constantly begs them to pay. It's insane. They should be fined so much money.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Oh, it asked you to pay more than Diablo Immortal did.
I can't carry anymore.
Like, I was like, where is the game actually? All you're doing is constantly saying, no, I don't want to purchase, no, I don't want to purchase. Every time you load a level, do anything, you just have to, no, I don't want to purchase. Give us Crescent Moon one time, shall we?
I can't.
We need a Grail item.
I am overburdened. I can't carry anymore. I can't.
One time, finish out the amulets for the Grail. Crescent Moon! Let's go! I just realized I didn't have my Holy Grail software up. Hold on, can I? Oh, it already has it. Wow, we did it! We'll go dong at home. I'm gonna give it to you guys. Let's see, how do we do this again? We take it and we drop it on the ground. There we go. And then let's go! One time, baby! Crescent Moon! Again, not that crazy rare of an amulet. Also not even a good amulet. Wow. But we got it, baby. Oh, 11 Grail items. I mean, it was rough there for weeks. We were not finding anything. We were not finding anything. And now Crescent Moon can drop off the list. Whew. That feels good. For sure, Nasi.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
Jesus, heavy. Wow. Good find. Good find right there. That one feels good.
I am overburdened.
Unique Archon plate? No, just a rare. Spider Cheerios and Spider Cavern. Wow. Come on, the new areas. If you're looking for TC87s, it's good. I don't know how to design a unique Archon plate. Do not know. Exactly, Arctor.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
I mean, I just think the Diablo subreddit has more Diablo 3 than Diablo 2 players on it. It's already really difficult, the fact that there's just a single Diablo subreddit. Because Diablo 3 and Diablo 2 are so different from each other that the crossover it's just asking for trouble. Because again, you just have people who want very different things. Thank you, Scotty Vegas. And I know there's the Diablo 2 sub and the D2R sub, but still the main sub that people use is the Diablo sub.
This monastery reeks with evil.
Right, so you just have the mix and match. Everybody thinks there's too many of the other kind of people in there. And they all have very different wants. It's kind of like the political system in America. You know?
I can't carry anymore.
It's you have two very differing parties and desires and wants. We're not going to start political talk. Just the general idea that you just have a mix and match. And so, anytime anything comes up, everybody fights because they're like, I want it this way. This is good. And the other person's like, I want it this way.
It's locked.
Yeah, and trying to please both sides is going to be really hard.
I can't. Impossible.
Oh, the remake is great. D2R is fantastic. Highly recommend. Barb is the best grailing character overall. If you want to do a grail with multiple characters, then starting with like a sorceress or something to then gear up your Barb and other characters is a good way to go. I got a sorceress and did some LK running and stuff.
I can't.
Tried to get the Griff. I got Akira's, but I never got the Griffin's. I also got Mavina's diadem. So, the 1 in 1,000 diadem chance, but could not get Griffin, sadly.
I am overburdened.
Exactly. This is exactly how the game looked when I was younger. 2 Najas. Yeah, I got Najas as well. Pretty sure. I think that was the first one I got. Yeah, it was. 1 Naj, 1 Kira's, 1 Mavs. I haven't added rune words in yet. I've got all the runes found on this Grail. Maybe later we'll do that.
Monastery reeks.
Aw, it's nice, Grievous. This is offline,
Can't carry anymore.
so I did it all myself.
I can't carry anymore.
So I was just running you know, single player Grails or LKs and things. No terror zones in offline, that's right.
Help me! The two-party system in America is like a dysfunctional family. Mommy and Daddy are always fighting.
Yep.
No matter who wins the argument, you know it's all your fault in the end. Except this time Daddy doesn't move out, and you don't get 2 Christmases.
I want a second Christmas. I guess I do get 2 Christmases kinda now because we've got my family and Moo Girls. So I was so jealous of those kids when I was younger. Merengue with the 690. Nice, thank you. No. No, none of the magics are a part of it.
This monastery reeks with evil and corruption.
The girl's my partner. Two, 6, 16, 7. Ooh. Nice. 78%.
I can't.
Exactly. Nah, her dad's nice. Panda just dropped it for you? Nice. Yeah, it's a tough one to find. Alrighty. It is about that time to go feed Moo Girl. Well, a new Grail item and some fantastic ideas for Llama RPG. Mwah. Kisses to you all. I appreciate you guys. And I'll see you tomorrow for some more fun